Radio. Good morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on The Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
It is Tuesday, my dudes.
And a happy Tuesday to you all. Welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. We get the boys hanging out with us this morning. Zack and Walt. My name is Josh Corey. I'm pretty sure.
I'm here. I just lost my button. I'm raising my hand and everything else. So, but I'm here. May I speak? May I speak? What is that even supposed to do?
No.
I didn't
now
know
you may speak.
Y'all see that on the screen? Is it cool? Yeah. I'm gonna be having fun with those. All right. How are y'all?
Oh, not too bad.
How are you, Walter? How was your Friday?
It was a Friday. Yeah, it was not the deal. The deal was actually Saturday. Goodness, sorry. So yeah, we had to head out Friday early to get to Lafayette and get things ready there, so we could set up early Friday morning, Saturday morning, like before dawn, about 6, I think, 5:30. I don't know what time we left there, and drove about an hour to the little town where the rice and gravy cook-off was taking place. Did I have rice and gravy? Yes, I did. Did I swell up from eating too much rice? It felt like it. Oh, rice is very filling, and it doesn't last. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, it was fun. We had a blast. Met a lot of interesting people. There was a band that played. They were good. Michelle and her sister sold a few things. Actually, Michelle outsold her for a change. Usually she's got the upper hand. But yeah, people were quite taken with her little Halloween
mug mats.
She's the right? The mug mats, mug mats, right? And the hats. And witch hat went quick. I told her, you better jack that up double. That's going to go in 10 minutes, and it did. And she could have paid. They would have paid more. I knew they would have. So I told her that's one you need to concentrate on. It's so hard to do. I'll show you guys a picture of it on the.
Yeah, it's
somewhere.
pretty awesome.
I don't know where it's even at anymore. I'll have to find it. I know I sent it to y'all at one point, so I'll probably go look in there. But yeah, it was fun. Thank you guys for taking care of things there Friday. I popped in on the road, really, for a few seconds when we were in the car, in the chat. Said, hey, gave Josh some bunny loving. That was about it. It was a cool little weekend. Definitely missed y'all. Glad to be back. I am at the moment trying to get everything open so I can say hey to y'all. But I had a blast. How was the show without me Friday? What did I actually miss? Catch me up. Do it all again. No, I watched a bit, as I said, with y'all on Friday. So I'll play catch up one day.
It was good. It was a nice, relaxing show. I will say that. Don't mind me making noise here. I don't know what all that strange commotion is.
Yeah, we covered, went over some news stuff and just had a couple rants, you know.
Had a good discussion on retrograde motion.
Oh
nice.
yeah, well, you got to watch that.
Oh, well, now, right.
It's, no retrograde on flat Earth. I forgot all about that.
I was thinking about this, Zach. How about only retrograde on the flat Earth?
There we go.
Because on the heliocentric model, it's, of course, the appearance of retrograde motion. It appears that they're going backwards. But for us, they're just lights in the sky, so they are obviously going backwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely have to go play catch up.
In the heliocentric model, yeah.
So it'd be only retrograde motion on a flat Earth. There is no retrograde motion in reality on a heliocentric model. It's just that appearance of the retrograde motion, an apparent motion.
Okay, it's too early to think about that.
I know. I was about to say, hold up now. There's not enough coffee in my face yet for all this. So,
okay, I found a picture.
I don't even know if I can type yet. I'm struggling. What now, sir?
Walter in the hat, but it's not letting me forward it here.
Man, I have been having the most trouble sending pictures and links through my texting. I've reset phones, I've cleared memories and caches and everything else. I'm beginning to think there's some kind of trying to keep us from passing information thing possibly going on in the world. But yeah, I've been having hell.
Okay, right, I just sent it to your phone because I couldn't send it to Skype or to anything like that.
Well, then let's see if I can send
a message
to the Skypers.
Yeah. So how was your weekend there, Josh? Anything exciting?
Not terribly. I mean, the bunny's getting a little out of control.
Yeah.
It's getting to be almost a stressful situation.
Why is that happening?
Trying to get those dogs outside past the bunny. Because she just doesn't tolerate them in her area, her space.
That's epic. She is the queen now.
Oh, she is definitely the queen.
Got to record that. Her chasing the dog.
Yeah, I have to see that. All right, I have got the photo. I mean, the share going, and now I don't know where the photo lives. Chat, that would help. Oh, chat. There it is. All right, let's get it up. There's the hat.
Hold on, let me...
Oh, you got to share me?
Do this so that everybody can see. Oh, and my smoke is running slow.
That's fine. It's like I said, things are not wanting to be shared for some reason.
Yeah, that is awesome hat.
All right, so there it is. If y'all can or can't see it, I'm not sure. But yeah, she apparently has a knack for all this stuff. So
yeah, she definitely
does. Started on my guitar strap and my guitar sack. I mean, everybody needs a guitar sack, right? Don't even touch it. Don't stop. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And she knocks them up pretty quick too, doesn't she?
Yeah, some of them she does. Some of them it takes a minute. That one took a minute. That's why she was. Why would I not stop sharing? That's to confirm that I want to stop sharing. Okay.
Daz in chat wants to know if
some do take a minute though. Some she works on for a while. That one took a bit of work.
Daz in chat would like to know if that was lined with...
I'm sorry, Josh. Go. What are you saying, sir? I'm trying.
Say Daz in chat would like to know if that hat is lined with tinfoil.
It actually works the other way, sir. To keep that little curled to the top, she installed some wire through it. So yeah, it would probably be more of an antenna than a deterrent. But I'll see if we can line one for the next event for sure. If we start selling those and it's on. All right, I give up. Typing ain't happening. What's up, Zom Snow? I see you in the chat.
If she would have made 20 of those, she would have sold 20 of those.
She would have sold 20. That's what I kept telling her. I don't want to make another one. I'm like, you got to make 100 of them.
Yeah, see, I've never done it like that, where you make different things like that. I mean, I've made a couple different types of hats, but I've only done hats. And yeah, it does. It gets kind of boring. After, you do 4 or 5 hats, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to take a break now because it's kind of doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Right. Well, it is a little different than an art person who can like make a nice painting, like Daz, and then from that prints can be made of varying quality that you can sell for some really top dollar stuff, and still that original is yours or whoever wants to pop the big money over for it. So with these things, there's no print to be made. When we figure out the actual Star Trek matter inducer, I don't know what the hell they call it. I can't think, man, what is going on in my brain this morning? It will not wake up. Anyway, yeah. Copying these would be awesome, but the actual process, she keeps telling me, grab some needles. And I'm like, yeah, okay. That's what you want to have happen. Turn me loose on it.
Yeah, she should make the Guy Fawkes masks. Someone said in chat said they wanted a hat.
Sorry.
I want the mask. So, severe weather, Europe. A polar vortex is now emerging in the stratosphere over the North Pole. Well, yeah, it's getting ready to be winter.
It'd be strange to see a polar vortex on the equator.
So yep, it looks like winter is most likely going to happen again this year. Whoa, here's one. I haven't looked at any of this stuff in a while. It says the ghost of Antarctica will haunt the end of the world. I'm not clicking it. I bet it has something to do with climate change. All right, I'll click it.
Those were the lost chapters from the Christmas Carol.
Scientists discover a molecule switch that controls life expectancy. Or no, discover a molecular switch. Okay, sure. We'll have to get into this one for sure. Did you see Blue Origin? Have you heard anything about Blue Origin?
Not lately. I mean,
so I guess they tried to shoot a rocket with their capsule on top of it, and the rocket exploded. It says, after Blue Origin's rocket explodes, its spacecraft makes a dramatic escape. And this was from yesterday, 14 hours ago. This is from Ars Technica, that one. The emergency escape system is seen firing on the New Shepard spacecraft Monday morning after its rocket was lost. Okay, uncrewed. An anomaly occurred during an uncrewed flight of the Blue Origin's New Shepard launch system on Monday morning as the mission carrying 36 scientific payloads ascended to about 9,000 meters. Was it about 27, not even 30,000 feet yet? The New Shepard's capsule's solid rocket motor-powered escape system suddenly fired. safely pulling the capsule away from the rocket. This happened 1 minute and 4 seconds after launch. Suddenly fired. What happened here then? Blue Origin's webcast did not explain the anomaly, but it appeared that the rocket's flight termination system was activated. It happened after the rocket had passed through max Q, the point at which the vehicle faces maximum dynamic pressure during ascent. And its BE-3 rocket engine was throttling back up to continue climbing on its suborbital trajectory. Suddenly, there was a large, anomalous plume of fire from the rocket's engines, and the escape motor on board the spacecraft fired. So this almost sounds like it was an accident. Ninth flight of this booster, which is 1/2 of the launch system that also includes a capsule. The emergency escape system performed as intended, rapidly pulling the spacecraft away from the exploding rocket. Had a crew been on board this flight, they would have experienced a significant jolt and some high gravitational forces before landing safely in West Texas desert. Apparently, that's why he put so much redundancy into the system, blah, 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 blah. So it's saying something happened, but it really didn't. I mean, usually they tell you what exactly happened. Like, this happened to the rocket or that happened. They just kind of say that it's suddenly, the flight termination system was activated. Yeah, so they don't explain the anomaly. Huh. Okay, so they had a big fireworks show in Texas yesterday.
SpaceX had a pretty big fireworks show too.
Did they?
Well, apparently they built their launch pad right next to a wildlife refuge. And after
yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, they had a big fire, burned out like 68 acres of this wildlife refuge and killed off a bunch of the wildlife. Fucking Elon.
Yes, science.
Yes, science.
But it's Elon, so it's okay, right?
I'm sure.
There's not going to be the animal activists up in arms because it's Elon Musk and he makes all their cars now, right?
That sounds about right, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I was watching this video yesterday. Now all this could be BS. So take it with a grain of salt. But they were saying, we're talking about carbon footprints, right? And how we want to eliminate our carbon footprint. And that's why California is saying everybody has to have an electric car by 2035. No more gas motors of any kind. Lawnmowers, nothing. Everything will be electric by 2035, they're saying. Now, that's all fine and dandy when, you live in La La Land. But do you know how much ore needs to be mined to make one car battery? Just one. Like on average, it's like 500,000 pounds of ore to make a 1,000-pound car battery. And the carbon, it takes like 300 barrels of oil to make this one car battery. There's not enough land on Earth. Well, there probably is. But, 500,000 pounds to make one battery, and you want everybody in California to have one of these batteries in their car? It's not plausible. It's
Talk
not
about the fuel it takes to generate all that electricity. Does anybody ever consider that? The electricity that they're giving us isn't free stuff from the air. It's shit they're creating through turbines and
Well, exactly.
etc.,
That's
etc., etc.
the little electric thing you plug into your car doesn't magically make electricity right there. It's still coming from the power plant. In fact, they're having so much trouble with their power out there because they don't want to use anything that, they don't want to burn to make their electricity. So what were they telling people a week ago? Yeah, you're going to have to turn off your air conditioners and you can't power your electric car now. Okay, so how do I get to work now? You told me to buy an electric car to save the earth. Now you're telling me I can't drive my electric car. This isn't like those hybrids where, I'm going to have to go get gas this week. There's no electricity to. No, you just don't get to drive now. It's crazy. It's not going to work. I think they're doing this on purpose. I really do, just to make it seem like all this stuff is implausible and beyond. Well, yeah, when you set it up like a bunch of, I'll be nice. When you don't do things properly and you design them not to work, well, yeah, it's probably not going to work then. But yeah, it baffles me how people can't see this. But this guy was just spitting out. Now I really have to do a lot of research on this about, well, not really, because it's not really, I really don't care about all this stuff. I think it's all a bunch of, we could try to destroy the earth. Every human on earth could try to destroy the earth. And I still don't think we could. We may, make it, a bad place for us to live for a while, maybe kill ourselves off. But this place is like the greatest filter, better than anything we can create. We can't destroy it. It fixes itself. I think they've been trying to destroy it for a very long time. And I don't think that they can. I don't think if we tried to help them, which by going and buying an electric vehicle you're doing, I still don't think we could destroy it all. It's too big, way too big. It's like an ant, a colony of ants trying to destroy a Buick. It's not going to happen. That's just my opinion, though. What do you guys think?
They'll fuck your wiring up good. Apparently, that is a thing. I have had that presented to me a few times, either in looking at trying to get a television repaired, and was asked by 3 different people, do you have bugs inside it? Are there ants in it? And I'm like, is it that common of a thing? So I went and looked it up, and yeah, it is. Apparently, there's something inside the coating of wires that attracts the fuck out of certain ants, and they will go in there and become circuits. They eat at the wire and short stuff out. That's beside the point. I know that's not what you were talking about. I just went off on a tangent. The coffee's not working.
I mean, think about it. If they really, really cared, they would release the Geet engine. We'd have cars that ran on water and actually put out cleaner air than they were taking in. We have this technology. Air filters, even if you were running gasoline engine, you could have an air filter that would get you like 70, 80 miles to a gallon. Specialize, tinker with the carburetor a little bit, get that even higher. I mean, these are things that people have done already. So if they actually cared and this and that, then they would release all this technology.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Walking Axel said, my grandma had a Buick. She ran over an old man. Yeah, those Buicks, man, you could hit an old guy and just keep going and you would You wouldn't even know it. Those things were boats.
So just for shites and giggles, I Googled the ant thing, and one of the interesting little stories I came across may have a little interesting twist to it. So there's
So you got
general
a minute.
consistent. Oh, well, crap.
Should we
I'm
wait
hanging
till we
on to
get
this
back?
one.
Yeah.
We'll have to.
Dang, your grandma was still driving at 98 years old? That is a boss.
Wow.
That is a boss. Have you heard about this new epidemic going around of teenage girls hitting people while driving around crying because their boyfriend broke up with them? I didn't know this was a thing. I guess there's a lot of teenage girls that are getting broken up with that decide, hey, I'm going to go drive around and just bawl my eyes out for a while and end up hitting someone. I didn't know this was a thing. Someone just brought it up to me. They even made a music video about it. A song trying to bring awareness to it. Like, hey, don't do this. Crazy.
I have to hear this song now. Don't drive and cry? Well, I mean, driving and crying, wasn't that a band in the 90s?
Take the Wheel Back from Jesus, I think is what the name of the song is. There it is.
Hiya, breaky music.
In the meantime, I'm going to be looking for a little soundbite from Joe Biden calling United States the United States of Chimera. It was really strange. I'll see if I can't dig it up. I saw it yesterday somewhere. It's just disappeared. Anyway, stick around. We got more. Second half of the first half coming up right after this.
Blame. I engaged in this the big share of my life until I met Mr. Shelton. I used to blame my negative relatives. I used to blame the government. I used to blame taxes. I used to blame prices. I said, it costs too much. Shelf said, no, let's cover the real problem. You can't afford it. I thought, wow. I never looked at it like that before. Shelf said, sir, you must intellectually understand. It's not it that's your problem. It's you that's your problem. It's not out there that's the problem. Out there is like it's been for 6,000 years. You can't cure that. But what you can cure is errors in judgment, errors in attitude, errors in activity, errors in misjudging results. I found that the errors were within. But see, he had to go after me on that point.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state. Manifest new and exciting experiences. Re-energize your life and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
Once in a decade, a true story comes along that remembers the future. After 6 Amazon bestsellers, I have completed the epic Birth Trilogy, a true story of Earth. By reading the Birth Trilogy, you will journey with the characters from the origin of Earth to its final destiny in a white-knuckle ride that combines the intrigue of Tom Clancy with the epic scope of Prometheus and Interstellar. You will learn more about the purpose of life, the mystery of death, and the true nature of your soul than you thought possible. The Birth Trilogy is now available on Amazon and Kindle. The audio version is a free bonus when you buy the paperback, so even if you're not a great reader, don't worry about it. I read it for you. Use the Amazon app today and buy the Birth Trilogy, spelled Bearth, or search for my name. I'm Brooks Agnew.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
Yes, science. All right, I don't know what the hell's going on here. The hell? Let's try this.
Yes, science.
Everything is laggy. Weird. Anyway, welcome back. Second half of the first half of the Ironworx right here. Truth Frequency Radio kicking off right this very second.
So ants, apparently, okay, so there is a general consensus that when fire ants and other ant species get shocked, they release pheromones. And those would attract other worker ants to that site. The workers also get shocked, release more pheromones, attract still more ants to that site. And then we get that whole result of the switching mechanisms getting stuck open, allowing current to flow, etc. What they don't really understand is what initially attracts that first ant. It could be due to random foraging, or there could be something about the electrical field that attracts them, according to Dr. Brad Vinson, professor of entomology at Texas A&M University, who was involved with earlier lab studies that seem to indicate the ants have an affinity for electrical fields that make them rest in those areas, making them much more likely that they get shocked. So apparently it's not just that coding on the wire theory that I had read or heard back years ago when this was a thing I knew about. Interesting. There's a whole lot of interesting little info here about ants. I will drop in the chat for you guys. I may even have this in the show link because it has stuff about, I mean, you pick it, how to get rid of them, how to deal with bites. This is ant-pest.extension.org. For those listening, I will drop that right now in the chat.
So Gunmutt Man in chat asks, what do y'all think about this upcoming event people are talking about? 24th of September seems to be some kind of astro number day. I'm not sure about the astrological because that changes. I mean, the stars don't change so much, but the planets are always changing. But every September 23rd, this happens. I've noticed this over the last decade. I've really been looking at this stuff, like Nibiru, all that. Since I've been hooked on, every September 23rd is the end of the world. For, at least 5-10 people out there. If you search September 23rd, you will come up with all kinds of crazy videos for some reason. Don't know why. Still not 100% sure. I mean, we are coming up on the one of the equinoxes here, but that's the 21st, 22nd, I believe. But yeah, the 23rd is always maybe, I don't know. But people always seem to freak out around September 23rd.
Well, I remember back in the old days when I was trying to figure my way out of a world that was just confusing and landing on a little flat plane. And in the midst of that transition, there was this event taking place in the sky overhead. Quintuple, pentamerate, death, blood, sacrificial, doom, kill everybody moon. And then what happened? Absolutely nothing. Or did it? We don't know, and we'll never know. Because whatever all that shit's really about, it's not going to cause the ruckus in the streets, or power's not going to get shut off, or whatever. It's just going to be some evil fuck behind the scenes, like taking control of a country, or I don't know, shit like that, doing sacrificial shit to get more powers over their world when they become the king, stuff like that. If it's going to be the end of days, I'll be quite shocked, because this whole thing, as you say, Zach, it comes up every time in this year. It's the whole feeling we all get, because we know behind the scenes they are doing fucked up shit that we'll never see unless we're part of those groups. It's a big club and you ain't in it.
Yeah, I heard Ken Wheeler made it. Ken needs to stick to physics. Really smart guy, but I don't know if he hasn't been in the conspiracy world for a while, but it's kind of like this. When you hear something in the conspiracy world, it's okay to talk about it, but don't go around telling people to get ready for this or that. And he always says, I'm not fear mongering or this and that. But it's like, yeah, but Ken, you are. Because you keep saying all this stuff and nothing happens. Nothing has happened out of the last 2-3 years. He's been telling, and it's not bad advice, get ready, have a bug out bag, things like that. But he keeps saying, and giving like timelines and dates and things like that. It's like, Ken, this is their game. They want you to think about this stuff. They don't want you working on your next book on magnetism or making leather. They want you looking into all this nonsense and wasting your time. I think that's 90% of what all this disinformation that we get is to waste our time. Just an opinion. But he said, I guess the Vatican supposedly wants all their wealth brought back to Rome by September 30th. It's all got to be back in Vatican City in their vaults. The Pope is calling for all the money to come in, blah, blah, blah. And he's saying, get ready for something. Get ready. Have you researched this at all? Have you looked in to see if this is something that's done like every year, this time of year, for or for something? I don't know. I see this happen to a lot of people. They start looking into this stuff, and then they hear something about it, and they start freaking out. What was it? What was that thing in Texas they did? Jade Helm. Remember that? Yeah, that was going to be the beginning of it all. I was waiting for you to finish
to literally ask, does anybody remember Jade Helm?
Yeah, get your guns ready. They're coming. It's time. Blah, 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 blah. I heard so much about that. I was worried. That was still when this may not be the smartest thing. I'm all for being prepared for the worst. But until, I get actual word from somebody I trust that they're coming, I'm not gonna get scared at all. It's fear porn. That's what
Let
it's
me tell you a
for.
little story about getting word from somebody you trust. So, I'm in a situation a few years ago where I'm called to come. Mom's dying. So I head to Oregon. At the end of 2019, all the bullshit began. And as I leave and go over there in the beginning of 2020, the world broke. And for everybody else, because me, I was here dealing with my mother. That's my focus. And everybody else's focus became the bullshit. Not fully, and I'm not saying that nobody was focused on mom. It just seemed like that, it was bad time and it couldn't have come at a worse time. And so as it was ramping up and it really started kicking off with a lot of extra unnecessary masking for no reason, and not even according to the guideline masking, just masking in a car, masking walking to the garbage, that kind of stuff. And it was really ramping up, and then suddenly a phone call came to the house from a person who was a trusted source, a person in the military, a person who knew shit that we had no access to because of his position and his knowledge and his level and his rank and all these things. And we were told, get shit together and be ready in 3 days. It all is shutting off. And my son was planning to come out and see his grandmother for one last time and have some time with her and let her have some time with him because, unfortunately, due to finances and distance and all that, that had not happened nearly enough. And so, because of the place I was in emotionally, trying to wrap my head around dealing with my mom, trying to save her, as I had done and tried to do many times before, this hit us with impact of just madness, and we all freaked. And so I told my son, I don't know, you might not need to come. If you get out here and they shut down the airports, you won't be able to get back. You'll lose your job. He had a nice job. He was really enjoying. He had just got a place with a friend. And so, didn't want to mess it up for him. Left it up to him. But, in the fear of that, somebody in the know letting us know it's coming, that happened. My son didn't get to come out and see his grandmother for one last time. So take that story with whatever you want to take it with. At that point, I knew that I would trust my soul and my gut always in situations like that going forward. Because my gut and my soul told me to get my son out there so he could see his fucking grandma before this bullshit really got crazy. But I listened to the fear in my head, and he didn't get to come. So anyway, like I said, I'm not even going to listen when that call or announcement or whatever. I mean, dude, we had fucking the man himself, Chuck Norris, called out fucking Wolverine. If that didn't get shit started, nothing will.
Well, you figure they spent so much time and energy trying to separate humans from nature that when you get a group of people saying, why is it there's been all these elites and people in charge trying to separate humans from nature? That's really strange. What's going on with the nature? Is there some sort of connection that's been hidden? They want to try to, again, dangle the keys and distract. So right there at the autumnal equinox, they're going to say, ooh, this is the end of the world. Everybody be really scared. Be really afraid because it's going to be the end of the world again. Right here at the equinox. Every year. So rather than trying to figure out what that connection is, now there's this inherent fear. Oh shit. September 23rd. It's the end of the world.
Yeah, it is weird. I asked this question a couple of years ago because it was like, okay, this happened last year and the year before and the year before. Why is it? And it's not like the same thing every year. It's weird. It just really is. Yeah, it's one of those things. Now, do you think I don't know. In the stars, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, just keep an eye out, folks, for videos about September 23rd, since it's coming up here in, 10 days? Yeah, you'll see a lot more videos on, this is going to happen on September, and this is going to happen, and you'll see it from a bunch of different genres of conspiracy theorists. Yeah, if you guys find anything, maybe grab those videos and send them to us. if you can. Maybe the Telegram link, Iron Realm Media Telegram link. That'd be a good place to share stuff like that. We can go over some of all those stuff.
And definitely, as you say, go outside with this idea of what are they trying to hide me from? To nature, a connection I need to be a part of. Get in the sky, look at it, get on the earth, take off those shoes that are made with rubber. Man, I've been like, something is like screaming in me to get some moccasins. I haven't worn moccasins since I was in my like teens probably. But yeah, I need some moccasins.
I'll shoot you my Etsy link for the guy that I got mine from.
Really? Yeah, please do. I need some that are quality, that won't like hurt me, you know. So
I mean, they're all going to hurt a little bit because you're just basically walking
no,
around
yeah,
barefoot.
I got to get
so
used
if you
to
need
it.
support,
I'm talking about that. I'm just saying, but like, you know, some people that make bad crap are good stuff. I want to get some good stuff. Let me know. Absolutely. Axel says earthing. Absolutely. What we need.
Yeah, moccasins actually is the greatest shoe to wear when you're, you know, not wanting to leave a trail.
Travis, this is not a dating site. Travis in chat wants the link there too as well. He's looking for some.
See if I can.
As well, Brian CB. I would love to be able to go barefoot everywhere, but yeah, dude, when I was a kid, I could run on rocks. Hell, I could run on shell driveways down here in South Louisiana, which is what they use rather than loose rocks. And yeah, that's over. When I go outside I'm wearing flip flops. However, they do have rubber bottoms, but I rarely wear shoes that wrap my foot up unless I have to go, you know, for a long length of time somewhere else. If it's just a local trip within 30 minutes or 50 minutes or whatever, it's going to be flip flops, and every chance I get, they're going to get kicked off so I can touch cement, touch ground, touch grass. I do remember bee stings to the toes as well, Axel. Sorry, go ahead, Zach.
Just a weird question popped into my head. Because Seeking Starwater said something that I hold dear to my heart. Said sun's going to come around again on the 23rd. To me, hey, that's a good day. You know, and I was thinking about that real quick. It hit me like, what is a bad day? Is a bad day a day that something traumatic happens to you? Maybe you lose a loved one, this or that. But in the grand scheme of things, is that really a bad day? Yeah, you're sad, you're emotional, but what is a bad day? To me, a bad day would be a day that I don't remember. You know, a day that was so nonchalant, nothing, you know, out of the ordinary, and just a day passed and I have no recollection of that day whatsoever. To me, maybe that's a bad day, you know, because with every experience, we learn something. With every loss, with every gain, with every emotion. So, yeah, we have days where bad things happen, but are those really bad days? I don't know. Sorry, it popped into my head, that weird question. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it's always your head to me. I mean, anytime. I'm the world's best at just tweaking on something that hits me in a very personal, emotional place and letting that ruin a day for me. And I've been working on that for many years. It's gotten a whole lot better. Usually doesn't come out until I get really rudely treated by people who, you know, should be treating me in a different way, part of their job, that kind of stuff. That's usually when it finally comes out again and I get rude and can't, you know, contain myself, and thus the echo out of negativity, and it comes back like ripples, and that's a bad day for me. But even those bad days can be learning experiences, can turn around, apologies can be made, things can be fixed, and thus learning has happened. So that bad day has now become a good day. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, what is a real bad day? To me, it's a day that I didn't learn anything and can't recall. That would be considered, and I haven't had many of those since Flat Earth. Well,
right.
geez, since
Now, outside thing happening to you, a disastrous occurrence, be it health related, something happened to you physically. I was in a wreck. That was a bad fucking day, but the things that came after it, although they've been hard earned, were amazing things. So
was it really a bad day? I guess it's all in the eye of the beholder. Maybe that bad day that happened was a reason that, something great happened the very, that you still haven't even connected to it somehow. In a way, you'll never even know. This little weird idiosyncrasy took place and connected you with someone that you know and care about now and are having, I don't know. This place is so vast and there's so many of us. It's just to connect every dot, I don't think could be done. But yeah, to me, if the sun comes around, it's a good day. No matter what happens. I am blessed with another day.
One of my favorite songs is
no matter
that very
what
song.
happens.
Another day. I'll drop that in chat. Hang on.
Doesn't matter what happens throughout that day. The sun came around. It could have been worse, is pretty much what I'm saying. I've done it. It's not easy to do, but just give it 10 minutes and imagine what your day might be like if the sun decided not to come around. That'd be a bad day, in my opinion. Yeah, agreed, Big Pie. Losing loved ones sucks. There's all kinds of things that just suck. That in that moment, yeah, it's not a good time, But after that initial pain passes, we come to the realization that, yeah, we lost that person. They passed. But just like them, one day I too will pass. Everything is going to pass. So we really can't. I'm not going to base my happiness of whether or not, this inevitable thing happened or not. Because eventually it's going to happen to all of us, right? So yeah, it's hard. It is. It's hard to try to be positive about a lot of things, especially in the moment. But once you've had time to really reflect on all of it and take it all in, it's good comes from that. Growth
Absolutely.
comes from that.
Yeah. Sorry. Man, you got me pumped up now. I want to hear my song. Why don't we play it going out to the break?
Cool.
All right, give me a second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I'm not hearing anything yet.
I forgot to share sound. That would probably help, huh?
Typically.
Well, that was the first half. Second half of the first half. Wrapping up here.
And as I culture the pearl in my bed, hope I can lift my arms. No, I can't raise my head. The silence is silent so sweetly as I rise with my dugout in hand. And after your courthouse defeats me, no, I've got to get high with my band. Hope I can make it just one more day. Been 3 long weeks since my lips touched your face. If I'm not willing, if I lost the game, if I cannot run the race, I'll just wait for another day. Another day, another day, another day, another day. Feel like I've had enough of what you said. That I won't bother the rock that you're under. Got freedom from myself for another day. Another day. Another day. Another.
Those are some good instincts, Walter. Anyway, this is the end of the first hour. Ironworx right here, truthfrequencyradio.com, TFRlive.com. Stick around. We got a whole lot more to cover coming up on the other side. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
They're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. There's the owners of Truth Frequency Radio. They believe they're communicating with entities. They call them clockwork elves. I'm not going to get into what they're interfacing with. They believe they're in contact with off-world groups. Chris Geo, Truth Frequency Radio, he takes it. You see the elves, little green hats. We're in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We're in trouble. The clockwork elves, all of it, I shouldn't even get into it. There's a reason they're all whacked out of their minds. They're taking DMT. And the point is that their whole science is way ahead. We don't even know what they've got. They're empowered because they're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. You think they're all a bunch of old men? They're in power because they were into this stuff 70 years ago. The DMT. They were jacking DMT 70 years ago. They were injecting it. They're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Truth Frequency Radio took the DMT. I shouldn't even get into it. Wherever you are, Make it TFR.
Frequency Radio.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Okay, dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe the dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there.
There was one?
There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. You're listening to Iron Realm Media. I listen all the time, and it's the best truth show out there. Forget about the mainstream lying. Get your weekly dose of iron. Realm, that is. Stay woke, folks.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cozy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on The Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
And welcome back. First half of the second half kicking off right now of The Ironworx.
Indeed. Welcome back. We were ending that last segment with a little tune Zack inspired with his conversation called Another Day by a band called Jimmy's Chicken Shack. I think the album was called Pushing the Salmonella Envelope, if I'm not mistaken. Really amazing across the board. One of my all-time favorite albums. I go to it at least twice a year, 3 times a year, and listen to it for about 2 or 3 weeks straight when I pull it out of the case. It is phenomenal stuff. I was lucky enough to meet everybody except Jimmy himself. The singer was feeling a little down. They came to New Orleans, to Baton Rouge a few years back, actually, for that album, and blew the place up. Little tiny club. I was up front jamming. They were amazing. Got to meet the band, except for, like I said, Jimmy was feeling a little under the weather, but man, they were amazing. Definite. I see Mike has tagged me in a message above. Mike, let me go see what you got, brother. Sorry, I missed it. Playing DJ got me sidetracked here. Hey, Walt, you mentioned you guys were discussing psychedelics related to things we were talking about. Do you have a link timestamp? No, I don't have that, man. I'll try to find it. Yeah. I'll see. Was that last Tuesday? Or was that last Friday? Oh, Lord. See, I can't even find the show in my head, let alone the timestamp, Mike. I'll dig, man. Give me a little bit. I'll see what I can find for you. Help me if you can remember,
commercial,
guys.
It
What was
sounded
that?
like Alex Jones was almost demonizing DMT there at first, didn't it? Did you guys get that impression as well when he's saying Stalin took
I
the
was
DMT,
away. I missed it. I know the
Hitler
song you're
took the
talking about, though.
DMT,
Yeah.
Mao took the DMT.
Right.
He's naming off all these horrible, wicked men, saying, "Oh, these were the ones that were doing the DMT," but then saying like that's how they got into power at the end. But good people, you know, a lot of good people I know have also taken DMT, and they didn't become power-hungry madmen that were bent on genocide.
I mean, look at Zach.
I took the DMT.
Zach took the DMT.
Yeah, it's wild. Definitely. The only thing, I don't know if I took enough, so I never drank it like ayahuasca. But salvia. Salvia was more intense to me than DMT. That's just my opinion. But yeah, salvia, I saw things that weren't there on salvia. Things I can't explain. You know, DMT, it's kind of more like an LSD type of a trip. The feeling is a lot more intense, and closing your eyes is a lot more insane. The things you see when you close your eyes. But as far as like overall, like salvia made me step out of my body. Like I was hovering up above my body, looking down at myself, and then looking around the room from that point of view. It was weird. But yeah, the DMT didn't do that to me. Now again, it may not have been enough that I took.
That's what Gumnut Man there in chat is of the opinion you didn't take anywhere near enough. And I'm not familiar enough with it to tell
No, I
you that.
definitely,
Well,
I mean,
sure.
I saw some crazy stuff. Some things that, but it was all still there. I mean, the things that were there moved. I saw some stuff that shouldn't have happened. But like on salvia, I saw this big fat black lady in a bright red dress, like ruby slipper looking dress, real shiny, just appear in the middle of my buddy's living room. Like she was singing, no microphone or nothing, and I could not hear anything. And this was right after he had a Rick James poster in his, Rick James smoking a joint, a poster in his room. And like 1,000 of those little posters covered the whole wall, and I followed it as it was covering the wall. It went from right to left. Then when I looked back to the right, the lady was just standing there in the room. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, I've told you guys my story with the voices and the electric sparks of, just like literally it felt like electric sticker vines, like blackberry brambles and stuff coming up through the ground into my legs, into my body, into my head. And as I'm freaking out over that, all these voices around me saying, he didn't know that was going to happen. Oh, he's going to freak out now. He's going to think he's got to go to the hospital. Watch, he's going to freak out, kind of laughing at me about how I was freaking out over this shit. And so I immediately went to the internet that I had just gotten into my house, maybe like 2 weeks before that, and started looking it up and finding out that it was, being used by indigenous cultures to contact their ancestors. I'm like, oh, cool. That was my ancestors laughing at me because I'm an idiot. And I put it in the freezer and never looked back. In fact, I was brought some extra special great stuff of some, company that was pushing salvia from a friend from some convention they had gone to. And I said, no, thank you. You keep that.
Yeah,
she was telling me
definitely
how her arm had turned into a bus when she hit it and all that. I'm like, oh, good. I don't need an arm bust. Thank you.
Yeah, there were different strands of salvia. They had the 15 times strength, the 10 or the
Right. That's I think that's kind of stuff
35.
she was talking about. Like it was different X's behind it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good
Yeah.
with no X. Thank you. Okay.
We used the 45, the strongest one.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, I'm sure you saw all kind of little things.
And Mike, this is great.
What
This
was the
is
thing
how
I
it
saw?
is. Stellium 7, he said, I took salvia once and became a coffee table. And that's what I
Right,
was,
there it is.
I was up above my body. My body was just laying there, motionless. Couldn't move if I wanted to, but I wasn't in my body anymore. I was above it. My body was just sitting there. At first, I couldn't move. My arms wouldn't lift up or nothing. My buddy's talking to me, and I couldn't hear him. I was like, whoa, this is getting... But then you kind of like go into a dream with your eyes open. It's like you start dreaming almost. You go into that alpha beta state while you're awake. That's the only way I can explain it. It's like having a dream with your eyes open. And then every once in a while, you kind of like look around and come to for a second, like, what? I'm still here? And it only lasts about 15 minutes. But it seems like it was hours. Yeah, weird stuff. It grows wild around here, all over the yard. I've smoked some of the stuff that grows around here, and
Really? I forgot you said that. I didn't know you tried it.
Yeah, I tried it, and it was like you could almost feel it starting. You know, you get this weird feeling when you hit salvia. And it was just starting to do that, and then it would go away instantly. It wasn't like, because once it starts, it comes on and it keeps going and it keeps going until you're like a vegetable for a little while. With this one, you just kind of get that initial feeling just for a hint of a second, and then it just dissipates and goes away. But again, I didn't know. I mean, it had a bunch of hairs all over it, but yeah, they say there's just like everything else. You know, there's cannabis out there you could smoke and it's not going to do that much to you. And there's other stuff you can smoke and it's going to lay you on the floor.
One hit wonder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, let's address Mike's like original question about the psychedelics.
Oh wait, hang on. I'll see it. But before you go there, I'm gonna drop a thing in the chat. It's a little silly thing that was on Tosh. I couldn't remember where it originated. I remembered the event, but I couldn't remember where it was. This is a bad copy, but essentially it was this salvia versus weed situation. And so he lined up tires like you would run, you know, when you're doing fitness training or obstacle course or whatever. So there's tires to run through, and he's got this young guy who's like at that time, I guess the salvia guy on the internet to hit some salvia and run this obstacle course. And over here on the weed side, he's got Chong to take a hit of some weed and run the same obstacle course. And so they both load up and hit their, you know, each of their stuff, and Chong just kind of walks his way through them going, wow, man, this other guy's flipping upside down, falling over. It's really ridiculous. So that kind of sums it up for me, the difference. Anyway, yeah, I did see Mike's initial question about why do the ABC letter agencies push everybody towards these psychedelics that we're discussing at the moment. I've also got Jeremy's question bookmarked too. But I think we were all, or at least I was of the opinion, Mike, that it's, you know, anything they can do that will help open people up to their programming. You know, think about the stuff that at the time was being pushed for these events. There was, you know, questionable music, music all created by people who were either related to agency people or were agency people. You know, the whole early hippie movement seemed to come from the letter people. So this whole idea of peace and love, everybody chill instead of fight these fuckers tooth and nail, you know, that idea kind of went to the side. The idea that just, you know, instead of getting in touch with nature and becoming one with things through these plants and substances, go, you know, go play goofy golf or go, you know, to a laser show. Hey, don't get me wrong. I tripped and saw some amazing laser shows, but then I immediately went outside and, flew through the sky for another 3 hours. So I guess it's all about your state before you got into it. But yeah, I think it was all about just pushing as much of their agenda as deeply as they could when they saw what they could do to people that were taking it and how they could literally program them using it. Then yeah, here, have fun. Go watch TV. Go watch a fucking TV show. Have a blast.
Yeah, I think it's an ingredient in a recipe that they use. You can take that ingredient and you can make your own sort of recipe for your mind and set yourself free. Like I've taken LSD and it was one of the most life-changing experiences of my life.
Absolutely, friend.
But
Absolutely.
then Rock and Rio in chat says CIA funded LSD experiments for mind control experiments. And that's right. They did. Because if you use it in your recipe, depending on what your recipe is and where you include the LSD, it definitely will have an effect. And I think that's probably why they're pushing psychedelics a little bit now. Even the last few years with the tyranny that's come through couldn't have been done in 2000. You needed the Patriot Act as a nice solid foundation. You needed all the fear. You needed just the mentality and the mindset of the public to be able to either accept it or reject it, but not be willing to really do anything about it. I don't want to wear a mask. This is stupid, which is kind of the way I was. But that's why I think they're probably including it now in the way that they are. I am shocked at the amount of mushroom trip references I see on television shows that Dixie watches.
Well, I mean, isn't it basically walk in a store and pick up a chocolate bar full of mushrooms in some states at this point?
Pretty much.
Literally?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, indeed.
I'm
So,
almost
yeah, shout out. Yeah. What's that? I'm sorry.
Other end of the spectrum. Well, I think people were catching on about this and what it was actually supposed to be used for, not for going out on Friday night and getting fucked up with your friends and looking at black.
Let's go to do goofy go.
Yeah, that's what they turned it into. That's what the alphabet agencies did to it. They took something that was supposed to be pure and, it brings the tribe together. It helps you answer questions spiritually about yourself and your life and your path. All these things that they don't want you to have access to. They want you to think of it as a drug and not a key to, understanding more about yourself. It wasn't something you went and did every weekend or this or that just to, like we were saying, to get fucked up. No, it's when you have those questions that no one can answer and you need to ask, nature, the creator, whatever you think is out there that you're talking to. You ask that question, you take some of this stuff and you get your answer. You go on your spirit quest, you do all. That's what I think it was originally intended for. It was like a telephone to the creator, almost. You take this, you ask your questions, boom, you're going to get this answer. It was a way to connect and actually connect to where we're always connected, but now it like tuned us in to now we can actually hear the message just for us. Just for that short period of time, it tunes your body in to where you can, accept the knowledge and wisdom that's being handed to you. And they demonized that. I mean, it wasn't, in the tribe, it wasn't the crazy guy that drank or ate too many of the fermented berries all the time that was handing out this stuff to people. No, it was the medicine man, that like the shaman that you went to when you had problems and he was going to help you. And this was one of the medicines he used. So much of our mental state is, today we fix it with all these pills and these horrible toxic chemicals to like destroy your nervous system. So you just feel you're not going to worry about it. My nerves aren't feeling bad because I don't feel my nerves anymore. Well, that's not fixing anything. You're not addressing any issues. They don't want people addressing their issues. They want them to just let them build up, and that's why we're seeing all this crazy shit.
And if people, that's another part of this, I think, is people who have been driven to a near psychotic state with the media programming and the fear and all the bullshit, then attempting to jump in to the deep end with a fucking chocolate bar full of LSD, psilocybin, and they flip the fuck out because their mindset, isn't where it needs to be attempting this. They should have dealt with a lot of these things in a little different state of mind before jumping full bore into this overwhelming, every sensation amplified 1,000,000% type situation. And again, that is part of the recipe I think Josh mentioned. And then add to that those fuckers that like to go bump in the night, that will then become quite active and quite, have a blast fucking with you while you're in that state. I'm looking at you, Jeremy. I saw your thing in chat. My last mushroom trip was bad. I'm done with mushrooms. I saw things people shouldn't see and have been under spiritual attack ever since. And I think that's twofold, my friend. I think it's partially that you are in a huge changing point right now. You're about to come into some power in yourself that they're afraid of, and they know when you reach that state, when you grab that fucking ring, when you feel that power that is in you, they ain't got a chance. You're going to fuck their world up. So they're doing everything they can right now, Jeremy, to fuck you up and scare you away from that power, including this, keeping you from perhaps having a key that can unlock some of that potential power. And I'm not endorsing anything. I'm just saying from my anecdotal experience, you heard Josh mentioning there, some life-changing experiences can come through with these things, but it's all about mindset and the setting in which you take this journey. Set and setting is key. Have a friend that can help. Someone needs to stay straight. There's always ways to do it safely. And then I see there Big Pine Sailing telling you to do it again in a better setting and undo the damage. And that's kind of what I'm talking about right here is, don't let them win. Now, am I saying, do 5 dry grams and have a heroic journey? No, I'm saying beat these fuckers because you can. It's that simple. Turn them into those pink fucking bubbles and pop them. I know you know what I'm talking about because I've sent you that article a few times now, friend, and I'll send it again to everybody in the chat. It's really that they want to keep us from that power, and as much fear as they can induce, especially in the state of mind, you become open and more able to be influenced by energies and frequencies and vibrations during these psychedelic states. So definitely it's a key opportunity for them to attack. And once they've gotten that little key into you, they'll use that as a way to get in every time. So don't let them do it. Use the love, use that green, circling, spiraling, powerful fucking thing right there at the center of your being. That heart chakra will destroy them every time. And you can wrap that around you, your loved ones, your house, anybody. You can send it out. It's a fucking, that's why the Green Lantern was always my favorite. Because when I would see that green thing come out of him and kick that ass, that's what I was using. So, yeah.
Marijuana, LSD, psilocybin, DMT, the options, reacts. Love's the only thing that ever saved my life.
Just seemed like that one was applicable to the conversation. The only thing I was thinking inside my head was a little Sturgill Simpson.
Right? I love that shit.
Mike says avoid the Stellium 7 channel. It's a form of psychedelic that doesn't wear off.
Permanent stuff right there, my friend. Definitely.
Epic.
Oh, we got about 90 seconds before we hit that last break of the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm totally off then. Why am I so far off? I got like 2.5 minutes.
Well, I was
What
looking
the
at
heck?
2 minutes, and then we hit 30 seconds when the music starts, so it's really 90 seconds.
Yeah, no, I'm just now hitting 2 minutes.
Huh.
Interesting.
Oh, maybe I'm off.
No, I could be off. We'll find out. We'll find out here in about 1:55.
What are the odds we're both a little off?
We have got
What?
one
That is
more
true,
half.
Stelio. The toe himself does push them every episode. What, Zach? Sorry, what happened?
I was just saying we're coming up on our last half hour.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll cover some space lettuce if we have any. I know the pile was getting.
What if it wasn't lettuce, Zach? What if it was space rice?
No way.
Hey, buddy, first time ever. It's
How's that
coming
for
up.
some gravy? Huh?
On the weekend that Walt went to the rice and gravy fest.
Can't write this shit, baby. They do. They do. Oh man. I think my
I
cat's
saw.
flying through the
I
window.
heard someone talking about Now we've been talking about this for years. I'll make it quick. I know we're coming up, but a AI machine that writes scientific journal papers had over 260 something papers published in scientific journals and lectures and presentations. And now they're all finding out that it was some AI that was just making shit up. That if any human with any knowledge actually read it, they would say, this is nonsense. This is just garbledy-goo ad-libs. But they actually publish this stuff in scientific journals, folks.
Looks like I was right.
Yep.
Your clock's off, Joshua. All right, so that's the last half of the middle of the third quarter of the fifth inning. Second
Again.
down, 10 to go. I think I messed up.
Safety.
We're not on this stage just because of talent or ability. We're up here because of 4 a.m. We're up here because of 2-a-days or 5-a-days. We're up here because we had a dream and let nothing stand in our way. If anything tried to bring us down, we used it to make us stronger. We were never satisfied, never finished, will never be retired. My high school English teacher, Mr. Fisk, I actually paid attention one time in class. And he said, he had this beautiful quote, and it read, rest at the end, not in the middle. And I took that to heart. I believe there's time for resting at the end, but for me, that time is not now. Thank you for this tremendous honor and acknowledging my basketball career, but I'm far from done. My next dream is to be honored one day for inspiring the next generation of athletes to have a dream, sacrifice for it, and never, ever rest in the middle.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jim Ram, retired. In early 2012, I was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that my physician was telling me were incurable. I knew there had to be a better way, and I learned how I could reverse every one of my ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, I was able to reverse high blood pressure, gastric reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, AFib, and many more. And I've lost over 70 pounds and kept it off. Now I'm hosting a radio program that's dedicated to helping my listeners do the same. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick of being used as an ATM by your doctor, then you'll want to tune into the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR. Frequency Radio.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
It's frustrating. It's inconvenient. And it's bad for the environment. And there's simply no reason for it. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. This is who we are. This is not what we should be doing.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
The United States Chimera. Welcome back. Fourth and final segment of the Ironworks kicking off right now. Big shout out to High Impact Flicks for that little soundbite.
Right. Chimera Jams, if y'all hadn't checked them out.
Did you see that video he put out yesterday? And big shout out to High Impact Flicks.
I did not. Tell me what I missed.
I mean, I think that was it. That was from the one he put out yesterday.
That was
there you go. There was another one he did. It was a live stream, and it was new laws in Illinois that will be
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that?
I didn't see it, but I've heard of some of these
Now,
non-detainable crimes.
Yeah, I didn't look into this. Let me just type it into a search here. This is supposed to be happening in Illinois, Chicago, of course. Illinois detainable offenses. Wow, it popped right up. It's called the Safety Act. Make some violent crimes non-detainable before trial. Let me see if there's a list. Yeah, and this is insane. This is crazier than what they did out in California. I am so happy I am not living in this area anymore. So they're saying that, these are non-detainable offenses, meaning, you can be arrested for it, but then they just let you go until the trial. So, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, arson, aggravated battery, kidnapping, burglary, robbery, intimidation, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing and eluding, drug offenses, threatening a public official. Now, again, it's in all kinds of stuff. Where did I pull this one from? Oh, geez. Could I have picked a worse one? That was Snopes. Safety Act is a serious threat to public. This is R star. So yeah, again, take this with a grain of salt. I saw high impact flicks. That's the only reason I know about it. But which will end cash bail explained. So Fox 32 is saying spurring pushback from Illinois law enforcement aimed at reinforming Illinois cash bail system. But for those other offenses you mentioned, second-degree murder, kidnapping, hate crimes, aggravated battery, robbery, just to name a few, judges will not have discretion unless the person is a willful risk of imminent flight. Their risk to the public and their risk to commit a future crime will not be a criteria. So risk to the public and risk to commit a future crime is not said. DuPage County's State Attorney Robert Berlin. That's a quote. So they will have discretion in certain cases, like armed robbery is a case that is detainable. But for those other offenses you mentioned, second-degree murder, kidnapping someone. Kidnapping. That's insane. And that is a quote. DuPage County State Attorney Robert Berlin. So yeah, this is real. It's still not clicking in that it's real though. It's so insane. Yeah, I'm going to go burn down this building, then I'm going to go kidnap this little girl, and then I'm going to go drug-induce this person into death. And I'll get arrested, and then I'll be home for dinner tonight.
Right, keep supper on for me.
Yeah, I'll be back, don't worry. Insanity. This is Illinois. This is where Chicago is. I can't believe that. And when I saw it on High Impact Flicks, I really didn't believe it. I was thinking, this is someone got him, you know? To the point that I didn't even go look into it. And then it just popped up in my head and I went and searched and yep, sure enough. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I know, Dad. Chicago and Illinois. I have lots of family in Illinois, Southern Illinois, and Chicago is a very small little, it's like the armpit of Illinois. It's the butt crack or the toe, in between the toe crust part of Illinois. Chicago's horrible.
That holds such a huge voting bloc that...
Yeah, that's the horrible part about it.
Subjects all the rest of Illinois to their nonsense.
It takes their state capital and just, makes it look like a small little town.
Laugh at Springfield.
Yeah, that's scary. That's a shame. If they thought stuff in Chicago was bad before or right now, just wait till next year, folks.
So there's
when everybody knows they can do it and just be home for dinner.
See, there's a story here in this pile of space lettuce I put in here. Because I saw it and it blew my mind. But then I thought maybe we'd covered it. Because then I thought maybe it was sort of tickling some bells in the backside of my brain somewhere. Walter, you let me know if this sounds familiar to you, Zach. You too. You read a lot of space lettuce. You guys ever heard of a guy named Thad Roberts? So Thad was a intern at NASA.
This sounds like a name I know.
So Thad I got this story. This particular one is from timesnownews.com. There's several stories. I did sort of read a few just to verify some of the information. Thad stole 101 grams of lunar rocks from a NASA facility while interning at the American Space Organization in 2002 to, quote, have sex on the moon. The moon rocks were collected by Apollo astronauts and amongst the most valuable substances locked up at the NASA facility. Back in July of 2002, when NASA intern decided to steal some moon rocks to, quote, have sex on the moon. Thad Roberts, a promising intern at NASA, once hoped to be the first man on Mars. However, the dream was put aside.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. I heard most valuable substance on Earth.
Among the most valuable substances locked up in the NASA facility.
And an intern had access to this.
Not easy. Not as easy as he thought. But yeah, well, it does sort of get into how it is that they secured.
Sorry. I just heard that and I was like, yeah, that makes total sense. That interns can get to these super high secure vaults.
Well, listen to how they had it secured originally and then to what he actually ran into. So Thad was a promising intern at NASA and wants to be the first man on Mars. However, the dream was put aside after he noticed a sizable quantity of moon rocks being kept at NASA's lunar lab in Houston, Texas, under somewhat insecure conditions. Roberts came up with a plan to steal 101 grams of moon rocks valued at some $21 million so that he could literally give his girlfriend the moon. He wanted to lay on the lunar samples out on a bed and have sex on the moon. He never managed to get in touch with the Belgian amateur mineralogist who expressed interest in buying some of the rocks. Is what I meant to say. But Roberts, his girlfriend, Tiffany Fowler, and their accomplice, Shay Sauer, all of whom were NASA interns, used their official IDs to enter the building on the night of the crime. And when they reached the safe, Roberts realized the rocks were as insecure as he had thought. Wait, what? When he reached the safe, Roberts realized that the rocks were as insecure as he thought. He believed that the combination of the safe was written on a tag tied to the handle. However, on the night of one of the most audacious heists in history, Roberts and his friends found that the tag contained a cryptic reminder of the code. The NASA interns couldn't back off after coming this far and decided to carry the whole safe out of the building, drove to a motel where they managed to open the safe with a power saw. Roberts and his girlfriend scattered the moon rocks on a bed and had sex on them. According to the FBI's report, the moon rock caper, the young thieves did more than just try to sell off a collection of lunar samples worth as much as $21 million. In the process, they also contaminated them, making them virtually useless to the scientific community. They also destroyed 3 decades worth of handwritten research notes by NASA scientists that had been locked in the safe. Meanwhile, Roberts, using the alias Orb Robinson, had negotiated the sale of the rocks with a Belgian mineralogist for the prices ranging from $5,000 per gram, ranging up to $5,000 per gram. He was going to meet the Belgian Americans' relatives at an Italian restaurant in Orlando, Florida, on the 3rd anniversary of the Apollo moon landing on July 20th, 2002. Damn. Turned out that the Belgian mineralogist contacted the FBI, who took over his end of the deal as the American relatives and trapped Roberts in a sting operation. And it just kind of goes on, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's now living their life as though nothing had happened. Look here. The 3 interns entered guilty pleas. Roberts was sentenced to more than 8 years in prison for his role in the moon rock caper, as well as separate offense for stealing dinosaur bones from a museum in Utah. While in jail, Roberts studied for the
So they're all about some stealing fake shit.
Apparently,
Go ahead, sorry.
Apparently they are all about that fake shit.
All about fake shit. About fake shit. No real shit.
He studied for his degrees in physics, anthropology, and philosophy. Now 44, he has become leading authority on large-scale structure of the universe. Speaking of fake shit.
Speaking of more fake shit. Oh, you cannot even.
Oh, my God. I hope Mike is still in chat because I'm looking right over here to the side at one of the stories. An elephant-like creature on Mars, UFO expert convinced he's found ancient artifact on the red planet, a stone elephant on Mars.
Mars Tongo? Go.
I'm almost scared to click it, but I think I did.
They're watching you, Mike. They are watching you,
right.
brother.
That's what I'm saying, Mike. They're on you, brother.
Look, There it is. I mean, fuck, I'm convinced.
Wait, let
Not
me
only
go.
is that Mars, that's an elephant on Mars. Absolutely. Abso-friggin-lutely.
Damn it, where is the call? I don't see it on your thing. Let me go to YouTube.
Sorry, yeah, no, I'm not sharing.
That's fine. We'll go to YouTube. I know how you do it.
Brian asked, are these thefts non-detainable offenses? Only in Illinois and California right now, Brian. But they're trying.
Yeah, Utah, it's likely to be an executable offense.
Yeah.
Utah's different like that.
Well, Indiana, you can still be hung for stealing a man's horse. That law is still on the books. They don't carry it out, of course, but yeah, it's still there.
Expert, a UFO expert.
Well, you know, you have to look out and find somebody. I mean,
yeah.
I think that tree picture Mike has shown a few times where the tree and the roots and it just looks like an elephant. I think that looks more like an elephant than this does. Anyway, sorry.
This one made me laugh too. They made a map. They've mapped out all the dark matter.
I know, dude, and I'm so excited that they finally found the dark matter. Right? That's what that means, right?
Well,
I mean, no more mysteries in the universe.
Well,
they found it.
Exactly. I wouldn't say they found it. They made a map of it, you see.
Okay, so wait.
I mean, they still don't know what it is,
So
but that's
I've
okay.
mapped out this new continent. I've mapped it out. So it's just something I came up with fake and I drew it. It's not real. But I mapped it out, right? Like Middle Earth or Narnia or any of those other places. Okay,
Sort
I'm
of.
there now. I had to catch up.
Well, it's not so much that, you mapped out a continent. It's that you sort of mapped out all the other areas around the continent, I suppose. And it's that negative space, you see. It's the negative space.
So it's like I guess it's like what, like chiseling something, like carving something in reverse. You just find the big block of granite and carve away everything that's not an elephant.
That's not right.
And you're left with an elephant, so you just reverse that. And
I think that's what. Yeah,
I'm trying to get there with you. The dark matter anti-picture. Let's see it. I want to see this bitch.
All right, I'm guessing this is it. Although it's from Getty Images, so maybe not.
Yeah, we're gonna go down. Everybody's been good.
Scrolling. I don't know if they did have one, and that's not it.
There was one.
Then they just didn't bother to include it. Whatever.
So there's a map. We're not going to show it to you.
Apparently, that's the case, or they just sold the map to Getty Images. I'm not sure which.
Okay. So if we let me go look it up. You continue with the story, and I'm going to Google dark matter map.
In early August, astronomers,
like some punk band in Milwaukee somewhere.
They announced they'd created a map of dark matter, the mysterious, invisible stuff that astronomers say underlies all structure in the cosmos associated with some of the earliest galaxies in the universe. Articles reporting the achievement described the innovative observational technique, searching for tiny distortions of patterns in the cosmic microwave background radiation, the backlight of the universe that originates from the Big Bang. These distortions appear because the mass bends space.
And as you're describing it, I will be looking at it here on my screen so that others may share the joy of this amazing map.
Here, I will share your screen then, and nope, not that one. This one. Oh,
here, let me make it bigger because I don't want any of these details to be missed. Can you guys see it now?
Yeah, now I can see it.
Too much. I don't want to blur anything.
All right, so these just here we go. Just this is the most. Probably one of the most telling sentences in the story. These distortions appear because mass bends space, even if that mass belongs to an invisible kind of matter. Even invisible matter distorts space-time for science. Anyway, tellingly, though, these reports did not delve into the mystery of what dark matter is or the question whether it even exists. For most astronomers, most of the time, dark matter's fundamental nature is entirely beside the point. Dark matter, whatever it's made of, is important in our universe. Studying its distribution helps us understand how galaxies form and help us discern the entire structure of the cosmos. But are we just fooling ourselves here? Isn't anyone disturbed by the fact that we can't see it and don't know what it is? I mean, a little. I'm more disturbed that somebody says, well, we don't know what it is and we can't see it.
But we
See,
mapped it.
here's the map.
And this is the map. So enjoy. Like I said, it is pretty astounding.
So
the scope, the scale, the immensity of it all. What the fuck, people? Come on, please.
Don't you know, Walter, that despite having never directly detected it, scientists do, in fact, have very good reasons to believe that dark matter is real. Very good reasons for their religion, don't you know? The first story that everyone tells is about how galaxies seem to be rotating at impossible speeds. So if you're going to tell a story that people need to believe for very good reason, start with that one, I guess. For science. The stars at the outer edges of the galaxies orbiting around the center so quickly that if there weren't something providing extra gravity to hold them in, they would have already escaped into intergalactic space like children flung off a merry-go-round that's spinning too fast.
So they're saying like orbital mechanics don't work if they don't have this shit. I'm just trying to understand the whole scheme of this thing.
I guess they're saying that at that point the
This is
centrifugal
different than
force,
orbital mechanics. Yeah, orbital.
Well, I get
is
it, but I mean, so if there's huge galaxies that are formed by all of these other Earths and diamond raining planets and gas giants that smell like potato farts or whatever it is, while all that's out there, it's spinning in this galaxy. So that's a galactic mechanics. Galactorbital mechanics. I just created a new word. So galactorbital mechanics don't make sense, is what they're saying without dark matter.
Well, yes, actually.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff, a lot of these models, there's just so much bullshit here. This proposed solution, an invisible, intangible substance, presumably composed of a collection of particles our earthly experiments have all missed, surrounds and penetrates the misbehaving galaxy, and its mass provides the extra gravity the observations require. Every galaxy, with some possible rare exceptions, is embedded in roughly a spherical clump of dark matter we call a halo. It's not unreasonable to point another possibility. Maybe we don't need something new to produce more gravity. Maybe gravity just acts differently than we thought. This has been the main approach of dark matter skeptics in astrophysics. And when it comes to galaxy rotation, it seems to be an appealing solution. These modified gravity models work so well to solve the rotation problem that news articles appear in papers, magazines regularly proclaiming that dark matter has been disproven by a simple tweak to Newton's or Einstein's laws. But there's a reason we haven't all thrown out dark matter. Yes.
Which one?
Both,
is
probably.
It Newton or is it Einstein?
It's probably both because
didn't Einstein do away with Euclidean geometry and any? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm baffled by science. They baffled me with science. Go.
Well, it's going to clear it all up right here, I think.
Oh, well, I knew you would get there. Go.
But there is a reason we haven't all thrown out dark matter and embraced the demise of gravity as we know it. The best evidence for dark matter comes from cosmic phenomena occurring on scales much larger than any galaxy, where there are fewer observational complications and where the agreement with theory is incredibly precise. Okay? Done and dusted. That's how that works. And that preponderance of evidence would be compelling even if we completely ignored galaxy rotation. If you're wondering which preponderance of evidence, let me reread that. There's a reason we haven't all thrown out dark matter and embraced the demise of gravity as we know it. The best evidence for dark matter comes from cosmic phenomena occurring on scales much larger than any galaxy, where there are fewer observational complications and where the agreement with the theory is incredibly precise, full stop. And that preponderance of evidence would be compelling even if we completely ignored galaxy rotation. And there has yet to be a modified gravity theory that can compete with dark matter when it comes to everything else. Galaxy shapes, galaxy cluster motions, gravitational lensing, elemental abundances from the early universe, the distribution of galaxies on the largest scales, and even the patterns of the cosmic microwave background light itself.
So I'm struggling to get that story to open. I'm assuming because you pulled it from the Flip It thing. Usually those are the ones I have trouble with. It actually is saying that phrase, preponderance of evidence.
Yes.
A phrase that I had not heard in all my years of scientific endeavors, schooling, my own playing around in science as a, backyard scientist, bathtub scientist, my own studies of various fields of science that I was intrigued by, astronomy, astrophysics, the whole 9 yards. In all the years of me looking into those things up until, about 2015, when I heard this phrase from a gentleman I know and love well. His name is Bob Nodell, and he kept referring to the preponderance of evidence that would lead one to flat Earth, and that we would need to collect that preponderance of evidence. And I kept hearing that phrase from Bob, and I thought, I love that phrase, Bob. That is amazing. And suddenly, here in this sciencefocus.com story, you're reading that phrase, preponderance of evidence. Interesting.
I find it very interesting what they considered a preponderance of evidence.
Well, there's that as well, but just the phrase itself is pretty outstanding.
Yeah. And it does kind of go
Love y'all
a little bit more, but we are about
Oh,
done
hell,
here.
it is that time. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you guys. Been a show.
Yeah, been a fun time. Thank you, truly.
Have a great rest of your day.
We didn't even get into the space rice.
I know, space rice, man. I'm so pumped up.
We'll have to get that on Friday.
Next week. Next Friday. Yeah.
Sit in the rice cooker. Do you need a rice cooker in space? Can't you just throw it out in the vacuum and let it cook that away? No, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out on Friday morning. More of the Ironworx right here. Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Zach, Walt, Josh, we love you. You guys have a great rest of your week. Be good. Be well. Bye-bye.